Hey, what's up, Spencer? My name is everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Spring has finally sprung. Well, technically it sprung like a month ago, but either way, I am so excited about the fact that it is finally starting to warm up. Leaves are getting back on trees. Flowers are starting to come out. There are birds again. I am just so happy that we are getting out of the dead, dark, depressing winter. And in order to celebrate this, I figured that something that would be fun would be reading a stack of books that all have flowers on the cover. So I have a stack of 4 books here that I am interested in reading, and I am just really excited to get into them. This is a very random way to group these books together, but I don't really care. So the first book that I am going to be reading is very appropriately named The First Day of Spring by Nancy Tucker. I am so excited to get into this book because it seems so messed up, and I love messed up books. It is about a girl named Chrissy who is 8 years old and has just murdered a boy in her class. It seems like she has some secret magic powers that lets her get free candy and walk through walls and like do some crazy stuff like that. And then there apparently seems to be a time jump where 20 years later, Chrissy is trying to protect herself and her daughter from somebody who is after hers. There are phone calls apparently, I don't know. It just seems really messed up, and I love books that are messed up. I mean, an 8-year-old who murdered somebody, like, that's come on. So I just realized that I was talking about reading books with flowers on the cover and neglected to really show you guys any of the flowers on the covers of these books that I'm going to be reading. I have The Poison Season by Mara Rutherford, which has these beautiful, the cover art in general on this is gorgeous, with these 2 foxes and a swan and these beautiful kind of lily flowers up top here. Next I have Tyler Johnson Was Here by J. Coles, which has a beautiful variety of flowers. This is actually the cover that inspired me to do this, where I really liked all of these flowers and I wanted to find a couple other books that also had some nice flowers on it for spring. A Forgery of Roses by Jessica S. Olsen has a surprising lack of flowers. It does have roses on the cover. Sorry for the window. It does have roses on the cover, but they're all very small and not very noteworthy. And then, like I showed before, we have The First Day of Spring that shows these kind of weed-esque flowers. I always see these types kind of growing on the side of the road. And I am 100 pages into this so far, and oh my god, it is so good. Holy crap. So the part that I said earlier about me thinking that there was like a supernatural element to it was just me being stupid. There's a line on the back here that says that Chrissy is the best at wall walking, she knows how to get free candy, and she has a feeling of power that she never gets at home. And I took that to be supernatural because I didn't understand that wall walking meant walking on walls, not through walls. Getting free candy is she's just a little shit and she steals it herself, and like the power that she doesn't get at home is that she fucking murdered someone, so she feels a certain power that you're not gonna get anywhere else from that. But besides that, this book is, holy crap, it is so good. It is going back and forth. Each chapter bounces back and forth between Chrissy when she's 8 years old after she has murdered this 2-year-old boy named Steven, and her as an adult taking care of her daughter Molly, who is in kindergarten, I believe. So I think that Molly is about 5 or 6 years old. And there is concern because Molly has fallen and broken her arm. Chrissy thinks that she might be taken away. So she's currently considering like taking Molly and running away because she wants to keep Molly forever, and she's under like extra scrutiny due to the fact that she killed a kid when she was younger. I really, really like Chrissy at 8 years old in this story because holy crap, she's just so messed up, but her pattern of thinking like also like makes so much sense for the place that she's in. And this is a book that I'm definitely going to finish in one day, I can tell, because holy crap, this is so good. I am 100 pages from the end of the first day of spring, and I really like it. I do wish that it was a tad bit less character driven and a bit more plot driven, but that's kind of more of a me thing more than anything. I do really like the chapters of Chrissy in the past, but chapters of Chrissy in the future, I am not liking so much. Chrissy in the past takes place of between her killing the little boy and before she gets caught. And Chrissy in the future is her when she's 25 and she has her daughter, and is about her relationship with her daughter. And to be honest, I don't really care about her relationship with her daughter because it seems like the whole entire thing of her feeling like Child Protective Services is going to take Molly away is paranoia as opposed to like true conflict. So it's not anything that feels pressing to me, and thus I don't care as much about it, especially because it just seems to be her relationship with her daughter is just supposed to be like, oh, look at how much better of a mother I am than my mother was to me. And part of the reason why I ended up murdering a kid when I was 8 was because my mother was so shitty and abusive towards me, which, like, duh, that's obvious. I do like Chrissy reflecting on her time in the institution until she was released when she was 18. So she spent 10 years in an institution. So that's interesting, but I don't care at all anything about her relationship with her daughter or anything about the relationship that she has with her mother nowadays. So I am probably going to try and finish it this today. It currently is, I think it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it should be easy for me to finish this last 100 pages before the end of the day. So I will check in with you guys when I am done. It's the next day and I have finished the first day of spring, and I'm gonna end up giving this book 4 stars. This was really interesting. I really liked young Chrissy, but older Chrissy, I wasn't as much into. The author didn't really explore how young, murderous, hateful Chrissy transformed into the kind of quote-unquote normal Chrissy that we saw in the adult version. It kind of seemed like they were just saying that because she had a child, that is what made her normal, when that isn't the way that things worked. The last 100 pages were kind of confusing for me, especially the entire part where she went to go and see her old childhood best friend, because the whole time I was like, girl, do you not remember everything that she did? Like, holy fucking shit, goddamn. And at the end, I kind of feel like Chrissy got off, after learning a little bit more about her past, I feel like Chrissy got off a little bit easy. I don't know. I wish that the author had really talked about how she had gone through a character change while she was spending her 10 years in the institution, but she kind of just magically got better by the sounds of this. That's kind of everything that I have about the first day of spring, so let's move on to our next book. So this book follows a girl named Lilo who lives in a forest next to a poisoned lake, and something is going on where her brother is going to be exiled on his next birthday, and then Lilo ends up saving a stranger from drowning or getting poisoned in the poison lake, something like that. So a lot of things seem to be kind of upturned in her life. A little confusing for me, not 100% sure what's going on, but I'm still interested and ready to get into this. Also, look at this cover. The regular hardcover. This is the non-Owl Crate version of the cover that they kind of just like printed straight onto the hard cover. I really like it. It's pretty. I think it looks really good. And then it also comes with this very nice artwork. Alright, let's get in. So it's been a few days and I am about 100 pages into the poison season and it's okay. Lilu lives on this island in the middle of this like poison acid lake that also has a forest that is filled with poison. And if you don't have the right magic, then you become susceptible to the poison miasma that is coming out of the forest, which is why her brother is going to be sent away on his 12th birthday. His magic has not developed, and if he stays on the island, he is going to die. Lilu also works as a watcher, meaning that she kind of like patrols the island looking to see if there's any like outsiders who are coming to the edge of the lake, but I don't understand like why they do that, because it's not really possible to cross the lake, because not only is it a poison lake, it's an acid lake. So if you try and cross in a boat, whatever goes into it just dissolves and dies. And even if you do make it to the island, you die because of the poison forest. So like, I'm not 100% sure what exactly they're watching for, because it seems like people will just die anyway. So I don't know. I think that I'm gonna try and read another 100 pages of this, and if I'm not into it, then I'll probably DNF it, because there isn't really anything about this that is sparking my interest. But I also have a lot of things that I gotta get done today. Mainly, I have to go to the store and I gotta go grocery shopping. And I also have to buy a new yoga mat because my puppy kind of chewed on mine, but it was also getting kind of old, so it was kind of time for me to get a new yoga mat anyway. So let's go and live the day.
Yeah.
Chores. I have gotten me some breakfast. I went to Walmart. I got myself a new bullet journal because I kind of needed one. I'm sad that they only had this navy blue color, but I guess I'll live. And I've also gotten 150 pages into the poison season, and I've decided I don't want to keep reading this. There is nobody in this book that I care about. There is no overarching plot at all, really. So there is nothing to drive me on in this book. So I'm just gonna move along. And the book that I'm moving along to is Tyler Johnson Was Here by J. Coles. This is a story of police brutality where a pair of twins goes to a party and one of the twins, Tyler, ends up not being seen again after the police raid the party. So I guess the story is about his twin trying to figure out what happened to him after this party. It does seem to be pretty short. It's only 300 pages and the audiobook I think is only like 7 hours long. So I expect this to not take me very long to get through. So I just went to change this on my Storygraph and it turns out I've already read this book and I gave it 5 stars, but I don't remember anything about it. I guess I'm gonna reread it, seeing as I don't remember anything about it to the point that I was interested in it and bought it to read again. Oh man, it has taken me forever to read this book because I have been working on editing 80,000 words of something that I'm working on, and I've just been spending all of my time focusing on that. But I am 125 pages into Tyler Johnson Was Here, and I am really liking it so far. There is a lot happening to the point that I'm almost like, all right, dial it back a little bit because this seems almost not realistic, the amount of things that are happening. I feel like a lot of the conversation pieces that J. Cole wants to have in this book almost happens, but isn't effectively placed in here. For example, at one point, the characters are saying like, oh wow, when this white girl went missing, like the whole entire city was out looking for her and no one is looking for Tyler, like, oh my goodness. And I understand how the conversation of how like the media focuses more on like when pretty white girls go missing than when like black kids go missing, but probably the reason why nobody is looking for Tyler is because at this point in the book you've told a total of 2 people that he's gone. Like, not even your mom knows that he's missing. So that's probably why nobody is out looking for him. It's not really an effective discussion piece when it's not one of the things where, like, people are actively ignoring it. It's not happening because you didn't make it happen yet in this plot. So I'm going to continue on with this. Hopefully I'll be able to finish this in the next day or 2. And I guess I'll come back when I am done. I have now officially finally finished Tyler Johnson Was Here, and I am going to be giving this book 4 stars. There was so much about this book that I really liked, but at the same time there were a couple of things that weren't working for me as much as I would like them to. For example, there was a whole side plot where the main character Marvin was supposed to be applying to MIT, but I don't understand why he was doing that because he showed absolutely no interest in science or computers or whatever it is that he would be going to MIT for. I have no idea what his major would even be at MIT. So for the fact that there was a whole side plot revolving around the fact that he wanted to get into MIT, even though his entire personality in this book is just focused on getting justice for his brother, which is a very noble cause and is something that is obviously important to the story, it is the only thing that he was interested in, to the point that I don't understand why he's applying to MIT. He never like does any science experiments, he's never on his computer, he's never like reading anything. I mean, a lot of characters throughout this book would tell me that Marvin was incredibly smart and had like a 4.0 GPA and like the best SAT scores, but nothing about Marvin actually reflected that. He was never doing schoolwork, he was never really interacting with the teachers or worried about, like, after his brother died, he was like, oh, my test scores are going to totally tank because I'm not able to focus on, and now, like, all of my dreams are in jeopardy. Marvin didn't really seem to give a shit about getting into MIT because it didn't seem like there was anything that he really wanted out of that. So that was an interesting side plot for me. But everything about the police brutality and stuff like that that happened in this was very emotionful, which I know technically isn't a word, but I mean like made me feel like so many things, especially because there's just still so much going on in the world nowadays that how can you not feel something when reading this? Which is why it was still a 4-star, even though I was having like such a hard time with the MIT thing. And now that I finished that, I can finally move on to my last book of this video. So the last book that I'm reading is A Forgery of Roses by Jessica S. Olsen. And I did start this already a little bit. I am 55 pages into it. This is about our main character. I forget her name. Myra. This is about our main character, Myra, who has magic ability where if she paints something, she can kind of make it come true. For example, this little dog came into the shop and had a cut on its foot, and she painted a picture of the dog without the cut, and it healed the dog's injured foot. Her magic is dangerous, it can get her into trouble, etc., but she has been commissioned by the governess to come to her house because her son accidentally fell off his balcony and tragically died, and the governess is hoping that Myra can bring him back to life, or else she will be persecuted for her magical abilities. Though I am 55 pages in, I wouldn't say that I'm far enough in to really have developed an opinion of this one way or another. I'm gonna definitely have to get farther in it before I can say for certain whether I like it or not. I'm still learning everything right now, so you know. So I am 2/3 of the way through A Forgery of Roses, and I am really liking it so far. Myra has figured out that the death of this person wasn't an accident, it actually was Moriera. So that is very interesting because she needs to understand the way that the person died in order to be able to fix the way that their body has been damaged. So it's been interesting seeing the way that she has been doing that and figuring that all out. So I have been really enjoying the plot so far. I only have about 100 pages left. I am not 100% sure who the killer is yet. There are a variety of people who it could be, so that's good and fun. I like it when it's not really... I like to be surprised. I feel like it can be sometimes very easy for me to figure out who the killer is, and that isn't fun. So I like it when there are a variety of people, a good variety of suspects, and it'll be a good reveal when I finally am shown who really killed this person and why. I have officially finished A Forgery of Roses, and I'm gonna be giving this book 4.5 stars. I didn't expect to like this book as much as I did, and I'm really glad that I had such a good time with it. I didn't expect it to turn into kind of a murder mystery, although I guess I kind of should have at the fact that she was being called upon to, but it was initially framed as an accident, so I don't know why I never questioned whether it was murder or not. So the fact that it turned into a murder mystery and then the twist at the end that happened. I am somebody who is usually pretty good at predicting endings and seeing twists, but I didn't see this one coming, so I really liked it. The only thing that I didn't like about it was the main character. Some of the things that he did, I kind of judged him for. You could easily argue that the reason why he did those things was because he has anxiety and kind of play it off like that, and I totally understand. I have anxiety. but I was still judging him for the things that he was doing because he was still making some decisions that were pretty major. It wasn't oh, I'm just like struggling with like social cues, or we're at a party and like it makes me uncomfortable to be around so many people, like type of anxiety. Like some of the decisions that he made because he had anxiety, I was like, damn, that sure is a shame. But besides that, I really liked this book. And with that, that kind of ends the books that I read with flowers on the cover. Let's do a quick little wrap up. We already went over this one. I DNF'd the Poison Season because it was so boring and uninteresting to me. There was no plot for me. The First Day of Spring was 4 stars, and I really enjoyed all of the scenes where Chrissy was a child and 8 years old, and it kind of bored me a little bit with all of the future. And then Tyler Johnson was here. I originally gave this 4 stars, but after talking to my friend, I feel like I'm gonna pull it down even more to 3.5, maybe even 3 stars. I struggle to give books like this a lower rating because obviously I strongly agree with like the message that is being conveyed and the conversation that is being had. But the more I talked about what this book actually had, the more I was like, honestly, it didn't super do it for me. There was a lot of things about it that I didn't like. Marvin was too flat of a character, things like that. So honestly, I do think this book was more of a 3. So that's kind of it. That is the end of the vlog. If you like this, make sure to subscribe for more content like this. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media. And besides that, make sure to stay safe, give somebody a compliment, and have a fantastic day. Bye.